Welcome to episode 5 of Work Hard, Dream Big with your host, Sean McGill. Today I've got a fellow Okie in. Make sure to give her a shout out and check her out.
I know you're bad for me, but I can't get you off my mind. You're like a drug I shouldn't take, but I love the high. You're like a shot of Crown at 4 in the morning when I should be in bed, but instead I'm drinking you down, wanna leave town. Get out of my head.
Check out Holly Beth's EP now on iTunes. Where are you living at right now? Are you still in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I'm in Oklahoma City.
Are you going to school?
Yeah, I go to UCO's music school, Academy of Contemporary Music. It's ACM for short, but it's in Bricktown, but it's like through UCO and everything. So yeah, I don't really know. I have 18 hours left, and I was gonna try to do it all this semester, but I'm just getting really busy. So I think I'm only gonna do 9 this semester and do 9 in the spring. So yeah. I'm almost done.
I feel the ending is the worst. I feel like I've been trying to graduate for 2 years now, and it's just never-ending thing. So what does that degree mean? What can you go?
I will have a degree in vocal performance is basically what it is. But, you know, with a lot of people, their degrees kind of just like you take it somewhere and you'll make more money because you have that degree. But with me, it's really just I went to school to learn more about music business and music theory and stuff like that. So it's not going to make me any more money, in the long run to have it. But
so whenever you graduate, do you plan on moving?
No, I'm going to stay here. We're playing in this whole kind of like Texas scene. So,
the kind of stuff.
Yeah. The only thing that the only place that I may move is more south. So, I was actually just talking about with somebody today. I kind of, want to go to like Dallas, Fort Worth area. But, maybe just South Oklahoma. But I like Oklahoma, so I plan on staying as long as I can.
It's pretty quiet for sure.
Yeah.
What are you going to do once you're out of school? Are you gonna continue to work, or are you gonna pursue music 100%?
Yeah, so I really wasn't working I was just doing music like during the school year, and I started this summer, and I liked that money, so I plan on trying to stay and work as much as possible just to have that extra cash. But if I ever get to the point, but music, I'll still go at it 100%. But if I ever get to the point where I'm making enough 100% to like support myself as much as I am now, then I'll probably stop working and just do music.
Yeah. Where are you working at right now?
It's called Richardson Homes. It's we build custom homes, but my dad builds homes there, and
oh, that's cool.
He just he kind of talked to his boss and was like, "Hey, she needs something for the summer. Do you have anything she could do?" And they really wanted someone there at the front desk anyways, so it kind of worked out. And then I babysit too. Yeah.
Pretty laid back stuff.
Yeah, it's not too hard.
I've been seeing you've been doing a lot more shows on the weekends and going out. I seen you went to Old Red in Tishomingo. How cool was that?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was like it was really cool because I kind of got more of that feel that you get down in Texas. Like a lot of like Oklahoma bars and stuff that you play at, they don't necessarily always like to listen. Some people, and that's totally fine. Everywhere's different, but in Texas, people love live music and they like original music, and it was a lot like that at Old Red. Like people loved it. So, and it was cool just to, play in a place that is so popular around Oklahoma. So,
did you go to Jake Jam this past
I weekend? Didn't. I was in Texas actually.
I feel like that's a lot of like what you're talking about with people not being involved. Like there was a whole bunch of dancing and stuff, but at the same time there were a whole bunch of groups that were just there to hang out, and they didn't really care. So
and it's that way, but it's kind of, you deal with that wherever.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
If you're a musician in Oklahoma, you know that you're going to deal with that. But I will say, when we played in Texas last weekend, we played in Fort Worth in the Stockyards last Friday, and it's a really big like self-confidence boost because people were listening and people really enjoyed it, and you don't get that a lot here. So, and I love Oklahoma, but
yeah,
there's something about Texas.
Well, I feel like that's where like Wade Bowen and like all those small guys that had, you know, maybe one or two big hits that are on the radio came from West Texas.
Uh-huh. That's where they all came from. It's wild. So
I've never been down to like a bar in Texas and heard live music playing. I don't think I've actually ever been to a concert in Texas, so I can't really say just a bar.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know that I have other than like my own.
Yeah, playing at your own
Which
band.
is like very far and few in between, but I've heard that a lot with other people, you know. So a lot of it is just from listening to people and like having friends that play down there, but then, you know, like the few that I have played down there, I've witnessed it firsthand, so it's pretty cool.
How long have you and your band been together?
It was 1 year this past weekend.
1 year. How did you? Are they friends like you went to school with? Because it was just you when I met you.
Yeah. So I did it for a while, just acoustic, and then I needed a band for when I put out my EP. For my release party, I wanted a band, and I had a friend that was a guitar player at my school, and then he had a friend that was a drummer. And it was 1 year that my band had been together, but my drummer just left us about 2 weeks ago. So he almost hit that 1 year mark. But my drummer I met at school too. My first guitar player I met at school. And then my bass player I met at school, but I got a new guitar player and a new bass player through the old guitar player, and then we just brought my old guitar player back for our bigger shows.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy to like describe, but
yeah, it's weird to me. It's weird, like just having a band.
It's different.
Yeah, it seems so much organized than just yourself and bigger than just yourself.
Yeah,
it's like a team. It's like playing soccer or any kind of sport, I feel like.
Yeah, I try to keep it as organized as possible, but it's a learning process, so I definitely I'm all over the place most of the time, and right now, we're still trying to find a full-time drummer. So we're working with a lot of fill-in drummers, so like every week, like I have band practice tonight at like 9:30. And we're working with like a drummer that we've played with a couple times, so it shouldn't be too long, but it's just stuff like that we're trying to figure out everything. So.
Yeah, it's a process. Even with this podcast, I mean, I've learned so much, and I'm still like shallow water with my learning experiences.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been doing your podcast?
Oh gosh, a couple months. So I started doing this because I listen to Bobbycast all the time and a couple other different podcasts. And I was like, that would be so cool. I'm going to school and I have no idea what I'm going to school for. And so I'm like, why waste time and money going to school, continue to go to school if I don't know what I'm going to do yet? So I got my associate's degree, and right now I'm just kind of laying low until I really figure out what I want to do. And I love doing this.
That's awesome.
Like this. Like hearing your story and other people's stories and Jesse and my next guest, I think is going to be awesome. It's just life-changing. And so I'm living life right now.
That's awesome.
I'm being a typical 21-year-old with my life and don't know what I'm doing. I was going to ask you, what milestones have you and your band hit in this past year that you guys have had?
Man, so, just like getting a band was like a huge thing for me, but we've gotten to open for some bigger names, and those are like, those are always goals of ours. Like a band that I'm friends with them, but when we got to open up for them, it was really cool. We Reed Southwell Band. We opened for them in January, and that was when we were like, this is really cool. We've been writing a lot of new songs, and just for this upcoming album, and we've got like our set. And if I keep writing more songs, so who knows what songs will actually end up. But, the recording this album will be like a huge like milestone that we will achieve together. But one like really recently, which we haven't even got to do it, but the fact that like it's like happening is like why I feel like I can talk about it. But September 28th, we're playing down at Bubba's Brew House, and we're opening for Co Wetzel, Shotgun Rider, and Chris Colston. And those are all 3 like guys and like artists that I look up to. And Co Wetzel was like a huge goal just because he's one of the most popular names in the scene right now, and that's is really cool. But I think another milestone was having we have a lady that books our shows for us, and we just brought somebody on as an artist manager. His name is Paul, and so just those things to like make our team bigger.
Yeah,
And
make it more surreal.
yeah, and 1 year was like really important to me too, just because I never even imagined that this would be my life. It's just been my dream my whole life. And then the fact that, and so like when we hit that 1 year mark last weekend, and that was our best show that we've ever played together too. And so when we hit that 1 year and it was our best show, like that was really cool for me. So
Do you write your own songs?
yep, we I typically write all the lyrics and get kind of an idea, pretty much put the chords together for songs, so like the music, but I'll take it to my band and I'll say, here's the lyrics and songs. We'll kind of hash through if we like it, if we think it'll be good or not, and then they'll put all like the music and the riffs and everything together. And so at that point, like musically, we all kind of make it together, but lyrics and the idea come. I've always, the ones that we've used, I've always wrote.
So when you write yours, does it come from personal experiences? Does it come from something happening in a day and you're just like, oh, let's make a good song, let's write it?
Yeah, it's really just kind of like wherever the inspiration hits. A lot of my stuff are personal, or a lot of my songs are from personal experience, but like I have one that I wrote about a really close friend of mine and a relationship that she was in, that it just, from an outsider's perspective looking in, that's how I saw it. And and so it's called 100 Proof, and it's basically just talking about how I thought he liked alcohol more than he did her. And
are any of your songs on iTunes yet?
yeah, so I have a EP out. It's just got 5 songs. Basically, EP is like a half album.
Mm-hmm.
It's been out since March of 2017. So
I listened to some on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, they're the ones that are like on iTunes and Spotify and everything. They're all on YouTube. They like when you distribute. I can't talk today. This isn't good. Distribute it. It kind of sends it to everywhere.
That's kind of cool.
But
I'm working on getting this. I would like to get this on iTunes podcast.
Yeah.
But it's so complicated.
Awesome. What do you have to do for it?
I honestly don't know. Like, that's a conversation we need to have outside of this podcast, because
yeah,
I'm serious struggling. What was your latest one?
The latest song or the latest
song? Yes.
Well, they all were released together. I thought about doing a single at first, but we decided to just go ahead and release it. I didn't really know a whole lot about the releasing process, but so that was, it's been over a year or so ago, but we are currently about to, on August 17th and 18th, we're going to the studio for the first time as a band, and we're going to cut a couple singles that we want to release. And
where are you recording at?
In Tulsa. It's a place called Brady Street Records, and it was a really weird deal how I fell into it, but I really like the guy, and want to see how it goes with him. And
so in that kind of deal, you don't have to sign, like, I mean, I'm sure you have to sign a contract of some sort, but you're not like a signed artist on that record deal, are you?
No. So a lot of like the Texas scene and just like the kind of the crowd of people that we're going into were really big on independent artists, and basically essentially that kind of means like you don't sign with a record label, because just basically like a record label, they'll put you with like a manager and they'll book you shows, and but they'll also give you the money to record and everything. And I do think there's great things about record labels, but we they're also, you kind of lose some of that freedom sometimes, and you might not always get to put the songs that you want to put on an album or whatever. But so he just has a studio, and we go in there and we pay him money, and he records the songs, and we take him after that. And so it's not anything, I mean, there's contracts to say that we'll pay him, but
yeah,
there's no contracts with saying that like we have to do this. So
it's
pretty nice deal,
a year or whatever.
Yeah, and it's a really nice deal. You kind of, as an independent artist, you can make the music you want to make and record the music you want to record, and
distribute it
it
how
out.
you want it, and
Yeah,
that's a pretty
and
cool
so
deal.
yeah, it's really cool, and my whole life growing up, I thought a record label, like, going to Nashville and signing with the record label is the only way you could ever like make it, but I've found out, in the last couple of years that's totally not the case, so it's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot said about Nashville. I've never been. I want to go just
Mhm.
to see it and go bar
Yeah.
hopping downtown
Yeah.
Nashville. But I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that's not the only way. It's kind of like
Yeah,
sports.
but Nashville is a great spot for some people, and for those that it works for them, that's awesome. It's not something at this point of my life that I think I don't want to do that at this point.
Hmm.
So,
Have you ever
but
been to
yeah,
Nashville?
yes, I've been a couple times. I went, let's see, I went when I was like 8, 9 years old, maybe a little bit older. I don't know. But I went for the CMA Music Festival with my mom and my grandma and my great aunt. Had a blast, and I really want to go back to that. But then, I was still in high school. I don't really remember exactly when, but I did, my uncle, he was managing a guy that was up in Nashville at the time, and he was cutting his record, and I went up and sang some background vocals on some of his songs. And so I've only been a couple times, but a lot of Nashville is you got to be 21 to do a lot of things, and I'm not. I'm only 20. I'm almost 21.
When do you
It's
turn
kind of
21?
in December, December 12th. So I'm almost there.
Mine was January 23rd,
Okay,
and
so
it was a great night. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun. But then it was like afterwards, I was like, there's nothing else to look forward to now. It's kind of depressing.
yeah. Yeah, that's what everybody's telling me, and I'm like, I'm just really excited to be able to play in like every bar, and them not tell
Yeah.
me you're not 21. Sorry, we can't let you.
All your band
Cause
members gonna be 21?
yeah, all of them are 21 except for me now. My bass player, he was 20 with me, but he turned 21 earlier in July. So
Oh, so you're the baby of the band.
yeah, I am.
The leader
The
of the
other
pack,
two are
though.
like, yeah, the only two are like 23, or I say my guitar player is 23, and then our drummer, our old one, he was 23 too. So it's.
Are you guys pretty close?
Yeah, they're like, and that was a really hard thing for me, is losing our drummer, was just because those guys are my brothers, and I will defend them if my life depended on it. But still, with the other two, like I said, they're my brothers, and we fight like brothers and sisters a lot, but we also love like brothers and sisters. And
Yeah.
this has been my dream since I was about 9 or 10, but when I brought them into this became their dream too. And I've had to like remind myself about that a lot. And they keep my head on straight, and they love it just as much as I do. So
And that makes a difference on stage, I imagine.
yes, for sure. And I feel like we've all came so far, because I've always been, since I was young, a performer. I like to put on a show, and it's really funny to watch videos of us, or even listen to videos of us from a year ago, because so much has changed, and we became a lot closer, so we trust each other more on stage, and trust is a huge thing, I feel like, on stage. So
I'm sure being up in front of all those people,
yeah,
you gotta have a lot of trust.
and sometimes it's 5 people, but sometimes it's a lot, but still, it's just learning, how everybody operates up on stage too. And yeah, it's a lot of trust, but you do what you can do, or you do what you do, and you go on with it. If you mess up, you mess up, whatever, just roll with it. So
It's still all fun and games at the end of the night.
yeah, we're all still there, just like living our best life. Like, we're like, this is so cool. We get to play music for a living. Like,
Yeah, it's awesome.
you get to say that, yeah.
I can't sing, so I can't play music for a living, but I can listen to music for a living, I think.
Hey,
I think that's
I like
a
that.
career out there somewhere. I'll find it one of these days.
Yeah.
Did you ever sing at National Convention?
Yes, I did.
I thought I'd seen that.
Yeah, I did like every year that I could. Like, so you couldn't until I think it was your like freshman year of being an FFA. So I did it like freshman through senior year, and I even applied after I graduated, but and I got accepted, and I just decided it wasn't probably the best for me to like miss a week of college, and so I ended up not going. But man, National Talent was so fun. I met so many people. And people that I still talk to this day. It's wild to think about it, but
Those are definitely the best days of high school. Is everything in the FFA. I mean,
yeah, that's probably the only thing I miss about high school.
yeah, honestly.
Yeah,
You don't think about it, but like for me doing this podcast, the speech contest that I went to and performed at helps me so much now. Like, yeah, my speech isn't perfect, and I might say and a lot, but I can still get up in front of a group of people and have confidence in myself, and that makes a huge difference. I'm sure for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It helps me so much. I've never really been like a very shy person, and especially on stage, and I don't really know why, but I'm kind of just a different person. But a big portion of that, getting me out of my shell and not making as big of a fool of myself as I could is FFA, and speeches, and even singing at state and national convention, that I got up on stage. I just can't
That's a
believe I
lot of
did
people.
it. As an 8th grader, I got up on the big stage and sang a freaking song. And I don't know, did you graduate in 2015?
Yeah, I graduated, I think the same year you did.
Okay, well, I graduated in 2016. So,
Oh, okay.
you're a year older than me, but I don't know if you went to state convention or your freshman year.
I went my sophomore year because that was the year I tore my ACL.
Okay.
And I was in a brace, I believe, at national convention.
Okay.
So,
well, what about state convention? Did you go your freshman year?
State convention, I believe I went every year to state convention.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember the little girl whose music messed up in one of her songs, but that was me. And the music literally stopped and then burst into chorus into one of my songs. And I just kind of sat there and everybody started clapping and I was like, no,
this is awful.
I have a whole minute of this song left. I'm not stopping. So I just sang the song a cappella, and I think back to that moment and I'm like, I don't know what possessed me to make me feel like I needed to do that. But if that was me today, I probably would not have thought that in the moment. I probably would have been like, all right, see ya.
Yeah.
But me just as a fearless little 8th grader, I've got something to prove.
I feel like I would remember that.
Yeah, it was really early. It was like the first session on the second day. So it was like 8-10 in the morning, and it was really early. So
yeah, we weren't the best at getting around that early.
I wasn't either. That was a very early morning.
Yeah, it was hard enough for me to get up at shows and all that. Did you ever show in high school?
Yeah, I did for a couple years in high school. I showed pics from when I was like 5 until my sophomore year is the last year I did. So I was a little kind of burnt out on it, but at the same time, I just really started hitting music a lot harder. And I was also a football trainer at Kingfisher. And when I moved there my sophomore year, and I loved football and I loved finally being at a football school. So it was really just something that I decided I stopped showing after my sophomore year and really focused on speeches and everything my junior and senior. And, it was sad to leave that behind, but my little brother is 12 and he'll be a 7th grader this year. So he's almost in FFA and he shows pigs. So I kind of get to live through him now.
Yeah, that's how my sister, she's 17 and she still shows cattle. And so I like to go to the shows and help her. But me and my boyfriend are also kind of starting a new thing and we're going to start raising show calves if everything goes as planned. So we'll see how that goes. Cool, I hope it works out because I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
and exciting for me. I would love it.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome.
So back to the album. What's going to be on your album?
So we initially started with. I'll give you a little bit of an insider on this. We initially started with just the songs that we're playing live that we've been playing for like a year, but we have wrote some new stuff lately that I think we're going to add a couple songs that nobody's heard and start playing them once we put the album out. But what you can expect is if you listen to my EP and listen to the song Bad For Me, you can expect that sound just off the album. It's definitely a new sound, and I've kind of found who I was as an artist, and we found who we were as a band, and we have put this conglomeration of songs, and but it's definitely a very it's more, I would call it more rock with country lyrics.
More like Casey
but a lot of
Musgraves.
a little bit, but she's more of the traditional country. We like to go a little bit harder at it. I would say, I don't, it's hard to even compare a girl, just because there's not a lot of girls that
Why is
aren't
that?
like the traditional.
Why is
You
that
know,
that girls struggle so much in country music?
that is the question of a lifetime.
And it's not like they
You know,
struggle, but they struggle to compete with the men.
Yeah. So I think I've talked to, just being a female, I've talked to so many people about this. And, in our whole camp, we've talked about it a lot, just because, well, I'm a female fronted band. And what we've kind of came to the conclusion, I think a lot of it has to do with females will go to a guy's show, and they'll always be, they just want a chance to see that guy, take a picture with him and everything. But girls aren't like that with other girls. They, and that's okay. That's 100% fine, because I'm very guilty of that myself. But girls don't scream at the chance to see another girls always. And guys are just not like that at all. And, when you look at my stats, a lot of my music is split 50-50 in between males and females listening to it. But at the shows, at the level we're at, it's really hard to see that. And it's really interesting when we get on and look at the data from that and see that. And but I think it is being noted that there are some really great women in all of country music, and in all genres, but in country music. And so I think it's time that everybody pays attention a little bit more. But also, as a female, I'm not going to be one of the females to be bashing the men, because not all females. I'm going to be the one that puts my head down and just sticks to the grindstone and just says, let's do this thing. Don't treat me any different than the guys. If you don't
You're all
like my
doing it
music,
for the same reason, hopefully, and that's to have fun
Yeah.
and do it because you love music.
Yeah. And I even had a comment made to me this weekend by a man and his wife. My dad had saw them. He was going to the bathroom and ran into him or whatever, and my dad, just being the little snoop guy that he is, he was like, so what do you think of this band? And the wife, she was like, my husband is a musician himself, and he plays and has for a long time, and he doesn't like girl bands or girl singers at all. And she's like, but he likes her, and so he stayed tonight. And for that, that was just a win in itself, because I was like, heck yeah, that's awesome. Like, I'm winning them over one by one.
Yeah, no kidding. I was about to get really mad and be like, listen, when you see talent, it doesn't matter the gender, what their opinions are or aren't. It's like talent, it's not rare, don't get me wrong. There's lots of people I feel that can sing and some that can't sing and they think they can, but
Yeah.
but it's just, that's what's wrong with our world, is like everyone's so degrading to people because they were raised a certain way or whatever. And it's like, talent is talent. If a girl can sing her little heart out and have fun doing it, cheer her on. Like, take a picture
Yeah.
with her, give her a
Yeah.
high five, tell her she's great. I mean, it doesn't, to me, it's just, and I know that's the world, and there's so many people in the world, it's never going to change anytime soon, but I agree with you. That's,
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it is what it is. And, you can't, sometimes you just can't do anything about those things other than just prove them wrong. And, that's like I said, our whole campus talked about that a lot. And that's just our goal, is to go out there and just do our thing and keep rocking and rolling and
have
just
fun.
play our shows. Yeah, and just do what we love. And the rest will fall into place. So
I agree. I hope it all does. I hope
thank you.
everything just falls in your favor, because
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
every encounter I've had with you from camp to now, I mean, Facebook, you've just been so sweet. And yeah, we haven't talked since camp, but you
Yeah.
just, everything you post is sweet, and your demeanor is sweet, and You're just
Yeah, that's so nice of you. Thank you.
seriously, you're somebody that young girls, whether they're singing or not singing, need to be looking up to because you're just so humble and level-headed. So thank you
Well, thank you
for
for that.
being an inspiration to our generation.
Well, thank you. That I really appreciate that. That's my goal here. So as long as I can hit one person in the fields with my music, that's what I'm here for.
That's how I feel with this podcast. This is my singing,
That's
honestly,
awesome.
and I have fun doing it. I don't know if people like listening to me, but
Yeah.
I like doing it.
Well, I will say I haven't had time to go check them all out, but I will. I've already found them before today, but I just hadn't had. This week has been crazy, so I was like, I'm gonna go sit down and listen to them. But I'm sure you're doing great, So I have full faith in that. You've always been really cool and really nice and sweet, and so I'm excited to go listen to them.
Well, I'm excited to get this one out there so people can listen to you and hopefully. So you're playing this weekend somewhere, right?
Yeah, we are playing. Let's see. This weekend is called River Palooza. We played it last year, and it's just a little river run that they do around where my mom and my stepdad live now. It's in Sparks, Oklahoma, and we had really fun last year. It was one of our best shows that we had played at the time, and it was it was a really fun show. But they asked us that night to come back next year, and I was like, yeah, just send me the date, a couple months in advance, and here we are, and we're really excited for this weekend. So hopefully it'll be a good turnout. And
that's cool that people ask you to come back. That's when you know you did a good job.
Yeah,
you made an impression on someone.
It's always a good feeling.
Well, definitely, I'm gonna have to keep up with your dates and play my weekends accordingly to come out and watch you.
Yeah.
I work on Saturdays. It sucks, but I work on Saturdays, and I don't get off till 6. And so,
dang.
unless it's like an hour, 2-hour drive, it's hard for me to make things that are decently far. But I promise I will come and see you and take a picture with you even. And post it all on social media.
Well, thank you.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up. Do you have anything else for me?
Man, I don't really think I can think of anything else. Just
Any wise
check out.
words from Holly Beth?
Just yeah, I think along with your podcast, you're doing this because you love it, and I'm doing music because I love it. I just would encourage anybody who, if you're not doing what you love, you're not living life right. You got to do what you love. You're only here for a little while, and you're not promised tomorrow. And I think it's very important to chase your dreams with your whole heart, and don't stop, and don't ever let anybody to tell you no. I think the biggest lesson that I've ever taken away from anybody, it was one of my teachers this last semester at my school, is he told me his biggest piece of advice is to never stop. He never played Coachella until he was 34, and he's 36. And he was like, for some people they'll stop in their 20s. He was like, but for me it was never a choice. There was never an option B for it. It was always music, and it always will be music. And I think that should be anybody. If whatever profession or life you want to live, that should be it. There shouldn't be a second choice. So
chase that dream.
Yeah, chase it.
I gotta say, also, your dad's tattoo was awesome.
Thanks.
Coolest dad of the year award goes to your dad. Let me tell you.
Man, I can't believe still to this day that he did that.
It's so big.
It is. It's huge, and it's all on the side of his arm. And I told him, he told me that he was gonna do it, and I was like, no way. And he's like, no, I really want to. And I was like, well, I will pay for it. It's your birthday and your Father's Day gift, because they're right there together, and I never know what to get him. But man, that was wild. I didn't know he was going to do that for real.
That's awesome. I seen that, and I was like, man, I wish my dad would get a tattoo with my name on it. It was so big. That's what shocked me. It wasn't just a little wrist tattoo or on the shoulder. It was a huge, completely full, blacked out HB band. Tattoo.
And that was my dad's first tattoo too. And so
what a champ.
It was, yeah, he's so proud. And but my mom and my stepdad and my whole family and everybody, they're all so supportive. But I had a lot of people that day say, I love you, Holly, but I'm not getting a tattoo for you.
You're like, oh, it's okay. Just keep
Yeah, it was
supporting
really
me.
funny, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you very much for getting back with me and doing this. It was a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
I will keep in touch. I've got some things hopefully being planned that I would like you to be a part of, if at all possible. And
Yeah.
the whole iTunes thing, I will for real talk to you about that because it needs to happen.
All right. Sweet. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. I want to thank everyone for listening to this. Please go like, share Holly's page. Do anything you can to help this girl out. Thank you guys for listening again.